him here in this game, because he is going to play the DD strategy. Might even be DDD, actually, with all of those new cards there. DDD Zero Doom Queen Machinex is one of the best cards. And this is an old one, the Dark Contract.
I may not be as an expert for DDD strategy as you, Leo, but I think that this is the card that you really want to see in your opening hand, right?
I think so, yes. Dark Contract with the gate. This one searches you a card, no?
And actually it was funny as also Tim was just breaking out laughing when he saw that Dark Contract of the gate. You can just add any DDD monster from your deck to your hand, which certainly acts as a starter, and we do get the DD Griffin here, which is one of the free-alls, one of the cards you really want to see in that deck. And looks like we're all in for a class here, as Guillaume is right now explaining it to Tim, and we all can learn together about how the new DD deck is working, what the new lines are, because there is some really good support in there. And that's another old one, though. We're so far only working with the older cards, and that is Copernicus. And we do normal summon that out there, the DD 7th.
I love that the DD cards are partially named after great scientists.
Yeah.
I think.
And we are sending the Land Soldier to the graveyard there. Now we summon out the Griffin. And out of 2 of those level 4 monsters, we just go ahead and go into a rank 4. And that is quite clearly the DDD Wise King Solomon.
One of the things that I love about DDD is the fact that they only play their own cards, right? They're only summoning their own monsters, and I really love the fact that they not utilize generic, for example, monsters, for example, IP Masquerena or any kind of this. They just want to establish their big strategies.
It is somewhat of a generic effect, though. Yes, it does search one DDD card, but we know plenty of those effects from Yu-Gi-Oh's history, just searching a theme Inheril card, and we grab that. Also, now one card start, a new card, the DDD Zero Doom Queen Machinex, which will immediately be activated into the Pendulum Scale.
Yeah, this theme has plenty of cards. It's 67 DD cards, not even counting the Dark Contract.
Wow, that is nice. Leo, our math professor now that Tom Payne is not on the team anymore. And we go ahead. We now not only have the Dark Contract of the gate, but also the Dark Contract with the Zero King on the field. 2 continuous Dark Contract cards. And with that one, we got to summon out the Kepler now.
And one of the things right now that I can tell is Tim probably has an interruption in his hand, because I see that he's thinking a lot. But where do you stop this deck? Where do you interact with it? Because for me, it is something that you need to understand, that DDD is a very unique strategy, that you are not have mandatory lines to, for example, stop this. And I think right now it may be a little tricky for Tim where to interact with his opponent.
It is. One thing that also is very popular for DD is that you can exceed summon in unconventional ways. As we just saw there, we summoned the DDD Marksman King Tell, which can be just exceed summoned, basically put on top of a rank 4. So we used that rank 4 that we had there to summon it out. And then afterwards, immediately we went into a Link 2 now. And let me tell you, this Link 2 of the DD deck, the DDD Abyss King Gilgamesh, is massively strong, because it does not only activate or search anything, but it does activating 2 Pendulum Scales, as we see there.
Also, it's an Abyss card, but it's not quite Abyss Dweller. That would be absolutely criminal versus the Atlantean Mermail strategy. But yes, if you're playing versus a deck that you have no idea what it does, and it is doing big combos, I think there's a pretty good rule of thumb if you have your hand traps there. Every time a card is activated that special summons or searches more than one card, you try to negate.
Yeah, also like Link 2s are always a good target, right? When you see there's a Link 2 from the theme, you usually want to negate it, like cards like Crystron, Hulky Fibrex or something like that would always be a good target for that. But here, it is not summoning anything. So cards like, I mean, with Mermail, we would expect something like Dominus Impulse maybe cannot be used on something that is only activating cards. And this is another new card of the theme, the DDD Sky King Zeus Ragnarok now on the field. Also, not the Sky Arsenal Zeus, but the theme inherent.
And as we see in the previous round, another way to have multiple Pendulum summons during your own turn. And this is quite interesting for Pendulum summon technology, meaning that you can right now not only Pendulum summon once, but twice per turn.
There is the Dominus Impulse I was mentioning. Of course, in an all-water deck, you are allowed to play this card. And I feel like Dominus Impulse overall in the tournament, in the format right now, so many of the decks are relying on this card. So many decks are playing it. Pure Mitsurugi is running it, Malice is running it, and also here the Atlantean Mermail deck is running it. And we are absolutely not done just yet. The DDD First King Clovis next, nicely sitting there on the throne. A Synchro Summon now too. This deck really is using all of the different extra deck mechanics. We're Synchro Summoning, we're Fusion Summoning, we're Exceed Summoning. What is left to be desired there?
I don't even know what was impulsed.
Good point, yeah.
Maybe it was the Swirl Slime in the graveyard that can be banished to Fusion Summon later on. I don't think it banishes for, because it was not Swirl Slime, it was a Necro Slime.
Yeah.
Swirl Slime fused from hand.
And that is Siegfried now, of course, as well. What is going to be our end field? One card. What would you say is the most popular DDD card over the last couple of years?
Kali Yuga.
Not necessarily the last couple of years. It's probably not that one. But one card that was really, really popular in, for example, Fiendsmith decks.
Oh, yeah. The Wave High King Caesar.
Yes, and of course that is also being played here in this deck, but here of course as it is member of the family, as it is member of the DD archetype, we are summoning that the original way of using DD monsters for it as materials as well.
I was going to say,
And
if this card isn't played in the end field of the deck, it's criminal.
And it has also an additional effect if it has DD in the field. So not only negates the activation of a spell, trap or monster effect to special summon, but also you can make one other DD monster you control and this card gain 1800 attack until the end of this turn.
Amazing.
Nice.
That's great. But if it gets removed, you add a Dark Contract.
True, but that is another Link summon, and there is now also another card that has previously been seen outside of DD decks, because you could, for example, also play this in Burning Abyss, but it's also, of course, a DD card, and that is the almighty, also powerful DD Deus Machinax. DDD Divisor King Deus Machinax, actually.
There's also another DDD Synchro monster that has been played a lot. King Siegfried. This is a negate, right? It's a spell trap negate.
Spell trap negate.
It is indeed.
But I think only when they are face up on the field, right? Or in the graveyard also.
Face up spell trap card on the field. The target has its effect negated until the next step.
I think it doesn't matter in this matchup, but...
Oh, but Tim is familiarizing himself now with all of those cards. I feel like that might be a sign of Julem being done with his turn, because usually when you're like, okay, that is it what I'm now facing, you are just like reading through everything, making sure that you are able to tackle this appropriately. And we are reading over that Deus King Machinax there as well, which is providing even further interruption in terms of its monster negate as well. But okay, it is the turn of Tim now. Let the waters flow, Mermail time. We go Abyss Tears, discard Abyss Tears as the first action.
And I mean, if I have to choose one deck to go against such a strong field, it will be probably Atlantean Mermail, meaning that it has such a good going second strategy.
Really? I think the deck excels going first, but going second, it lacks quite some pushes sometimes.
Oh, it's one of the better decks which can push with Engine. Just because of Poseidra, I think that is a marvelous
Poseidra is crazy. Yeah,
oh, look, we negated Abyss Tears, but Abyss Tears is not a once per turn effect. We can just activate it again, discard Abyss Rhine, but there is now even more from the DD side, because there is also the Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness. All the contracts being used here from Julem, and he's explaining 1, 2, 3 there. While you have 2 DD cards in your Pendulum Zone, your opponent cannot target monsters on the field with spell and trap effects. And you can tribute for a tribute, you don't have to tribute anymore, which is really, really crucial as well.
Also, I was going to mention earlier, the King Siegfried effect actually matters in every matchup, because you can negate your own Dark Contract so they don't deal damage to you and you lose the game eventually, because you take too much damage. It can be a very interesting part of the deck. Now Toys finally gets to resolve, gets to add, and there is Poseidra.
Okay, Poseidra is here, discarding the Shadow Squad. Tim trying to play into this, trying to make this happen, and Poseidra hits the field. Chainlink 1 Poseidra, Chainlink 2 Shadow Squad. When you get to snowball all those effects of all those water monsters, of those Atlantean and Mermail monsters, you do get there eventually. You can just break a field naturally with those Mermail monsters. But in response now, Gilem explains the interaction between that Deus King Machinex and his now trap card that is face up, because I think we do not need to pay cost. Oh, we just attach it as a material. Okay.
And now you can use the effect from Machinex there again, detach materials, and we are taking over the Poseidra here. Now, Dragoona, of course, activates, or Dragoons, and the Shadow Squad special summons out the Neptibus. And at this point, I'm thinking you're right. You might want to use Mermail as a deck to break this field, but of course, always a vulnerable position for the Neptibus to be in, as long as it has not activated its effect yet. Because if there is just an effect to pop a card and not to negate one, this might be good. Oh, it actually sticks on the field, gets to activate, and now we're snowballing here.
Never underestimate the water, right? And I mean, right now, I can see a lot of plays from team sides of the field, and I truly believe that right now we may see such a strong field. However, I think that team is very confident, right?
He is dismantling it as if it would be nothing. Really, he's playing into it. Now also searching for one, of course, of the original Atlanteans. We got the heavy infantry, and heavy infantry can, when it gets to the graveyard through a water effect, destroy one face-up card on the field.
And I mean, if Poseidra beats the Atlantean Dragon Lord, the Exist monster would be on the field, it can cause a lot of problems. And I truly believe that we may see a lot of plays right now.
Okay, now the graveyard effect of the Prince too, bringing back Shadow Squad. It's a huge combo field, and Tim is not even familiar with all of those DD cards, but still he's doing a pretty good job of playing into it here.
Do you have to be familiar with them as long as you're not getting into super polymerization here for a GM? This card came unexpected. Tim is shrugging, saying, all right, I expected some engine there maybe, but no, this is a Mud Dragon of the Swamp, taking away the super Deep Sea King Coelacanth, and that one is hugely important for the push here.
The first DDD monster that has been summoned, that it's not a DDD.
Yeah, true.
Very much so. Of course, we're not locked into DDDs now that it is the turn of Tim, so that super polymerization can just go in and ruin the plans that Tim had. And okay, we see the classic finger tipping on the table, so it's apparently there is some more left that we can do.
Also, I've never seen a Mermail player without an ultimate rare Coelacanth.
True.
They are always exist. Ultimate.
Doesn't exist.
I think you have to play the ultimate.
Yeah. It's a rule.
By law.
By the law of the water, really.
Yeah. Straight.
There are more than 5 water monsters in the graveyard, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. But at this point, I don't even think there's a lot of cards in the hand of GM, so Mulin Glacier wouldn't even do too much.
Just for Extend.
Yeah.
Normal summon infantry, and we use the ability of infantry to normal summon one more time, and both of these monsters, the Prince and the infantry, make Corral Anemone.
Yep. And then Machinex activates again here, wants to take away the Anemone, detaches to there. Poseidra goes back to the grave.
And Anemone needs to special summon to her pointer.
Expert on the team, Leo, you have really come a long way, but for now, the way is long for Tim, as he does not only have to win this game, but 2 games in a row if he wants to come out victorious here for this round 12 featured match.
Now, something very, very interesting I want to ask you guys. If you're starting with Neptibus, you know, sometimes when you want to save some time to avoid a potential double loss, you're scooping games that you maybe could win. You might have a 10 to 15% chance. Do you think people have scooped often to normal summon Neptibus so far? And then also, do you think he still knows his combo?
I think yes, that he did definitely have that happening to him. Oh, what's that?
Poseidra and the Shadow Squad is now going to be able to eventually get to the Neptibus. Ash Blossom on the Fuwalos. Very big here.
So you're talking about a secret strategy, Leo, that when you don't need your normal summon to attack, you just play 3 Neptibus without a target, just normal summon, and make your opponent think that you play Mermail.
Just play 1 Neptibus, exactly, you normal summon it, and then I was like, yeah, okay, we gotta save some time, gotta be smart here, and you're like, haha.
But I mean, when there is Molchami Fuvalos, there is surely no reason to be scooping.
It's ashed.
But it is ashed indeed, so from here on out, maybe we will see a short game unfolding. Dragoons in the graveyard now too.
But also maybe not. We are still checking every single card. We are reading them thoroughly. Maybe GM has the secret DD strategies to dismantle big fields, to play through something like a barrier statue of the torrent.
Oh,
we're gonna find out soon.
My. We are looking in there and we say Ghost Ballad Haunted Mansion is not going to haunt me here in this game, and we are left with only a driver and 2 of our DD cards, which one of them is Orchrus.
That is enormous information for Tim, because now he knows that he might not want to activate something like a Perulia or a Fualos in draw phase or standby phase, because there is a good chance that there's a Gamma answering you, special summoning out a driver, and then completely extending through.
Yeah, but I mean, always the curse of the Psychic Soldier is there, always drawing the driver, right?
Driver is just absolutely the best card in the deck. I don't know what you mean.
He's the best, I agree. Abystride, the Atlantean Spirit now on the field, and it looks like GM, very familiar with his own cards, but also, as Tim was doing the last game, reading the cards of his opponent now. And I mean, Game 1 was decently fast, so I think if you're not super familiar with the deck, you may as well just get as much information as possible now in the
100%.
second game about the opponent's deck.
Usually I would say this is a game that I think I would give up super fast, so we have 30 minutes time for Game 3. But if you're not too well versed, as you just said, Basti, with the combos of the Mermail deck, you want to be like, hey, let me see what you're trying to do, how you're extending the best, and where I should answer you. And then in the last game, Kim did a great job already identifying that Deep Sea King Coelacanth, that's a good card to get rid of immediately.
And I mean, especially with such a strategy, you really want to have some time, because obviously you have a very strong long combo to go through. And also
Mooling Glacier also now taking away 2
Don't hit
more
the driver.
cards. Come on, leave him with the driver. Just forget Cinema, please. Leave him as only with the most powerful normal monster in the game next to Blue Eyes White Dragon. Okay.
And, oh my days, if the driver stays in hand, this would be the funniest thing ever. Driver was hit, not the last driver standing here.
And I was talking about that when you have a long combo and your opponent can play through it through only his engine, you need some time, obviously, because the game will go through a lot of minutes. However, as we can see right now, I like the fact that he respects his opponent and waits to see the full combo and know the information.
Yeah.
I think that almost gimmicky card there, the Glutonus Reptolfin Grievous, which is just another target, of course, for the Coelacanth, which we here unluckily drew, but I think we have recovered from that quite nicely already.
I've seen this card in almost every Mermail player's hand so far.
Yeah.
This card just draws itself so incredibly often.
I think it's a discard target for Abystius.
Yeah,
and nothing more.
That's what you play it for. And just, of course, special summon it out with the Deep Sea King Coelacanth. And there we have the Neptibus again going into a Link 2 before that. Or are we going into a Synchro Summon?
Indeed we are, and that is the Ice Shade Jimir Agarin. Not seeing that in every deck, but of course we are trying to find different solutions to the Mermail Enfield. Some of our Enfield pieces from the past have been replaced because, for example, Totally Awesome, that setup with Barmuchak, not possible anymore. Also, Abyss Dweller, not something we can go into anymore. So we just pass on this very minimalistic field. It's enough, though, or not, to have a chance to still make it into top 8 or not. This game, certainly a very important one. They have already played plenty of matches this weekend, but it doesn't stop being high stakes.
Oh, I wonder what this facial expression from Tim is supposed to mean here. Is his hand incredibly good, or does it do nothing? Do you maybe have a Drone Lockbird? This is one of those cards. Ash Blossom Joyous Spring on the Dark Contract. Is that a turn skip?
It is actually perfect. That's him. He enjoyed the moment. You saw that. He looked into the crowd for a moment, be like, okay, I did it. That stopped him.
So, I mean, this is one of the strategies that I really love to do, is when you have only Ash Blossom, just use it on the first thing that your opponent had. If he has anything more, it's okay. If he doesn't, you can just take it in and play with your engine.
That's one of them. Is it followed up by the best normal summon of the deck? Oh no, it goes Poseidon, which actually is even
as a discard.
Wow.
That is even better here, because you can get rid of the face down card before you go into your Neptibus. So super polymerization, not even an issue here, which fair enough would also not be an issue with the Neptibus, but you would give your opponent more of an opening here. Shadow Squad is being sent to the graveyard. Dragoons is going to add a card. card. Things are looking splendid for Tim von Piechowski. And it was an impulse, maybe.
And I think when you see that Mermail take Sentinel as a target, I think that you are in a very, very bad position, to be honest.
So, is that one singular impulse going to stop us? Tim looks unfazed, reading a card of his own now in his hand. Is there a way to Prince? Oh, it is Area, the water channeler. That is a nice tag coming in from the side deck here from Tim's side. A card that I have not seen in ages, but a way to just simply search out Dragoons here to our hand.
And Tails with the Dragoon alongside
we get
Poseidon
it
with
going. That's huge. When have you seen Area the Water Channeler for the last time?
Never.
I mean, we have seen it as a trap card in the World Championship from Rosalie, right?
True, yeah. We have seen the Aoi.
Yeah.
Exactly. And we are now seeing the little Gaga Gigo on the side here. Gagigo. Gagigo.
Gigabyte.
Yeah.
No.
Gigabyte. It's Gigabyte. Oh, yes. It's Gigabyte before the villain arc. But Neptubis has hit the field. Normal summoned here after Dragoon searched it out. And now you can send another Dragoons to just completely go crazy.
And you know what's cool here also? In case there is a Nibiru, the Primal being in the hand, it could not even be activated anymore because of the Dominus Impulse. So we are so safe here. Tim has to only somehow get to 8,000 points of damage. And I think with all those already powerful monsters that he has on the field there, that will be no big deal.
Oh, we're halfway there. And Tim is right now living on a prayer, going for this potential OTK here. 4 cards in hand. Abyss Rhine tributing away the Neptubis. This is looking fantastic for him.
Coelacanth, more attack points. That is getting closer to that desired 8,000 already. Brings back the Dragoons. I think we're doing some quick maths here. Look, we're explaining, we're showcasing. This is more than 8,000. So why don't we head over into the battle phase? Oh, okay, Tim is doing some slow math here, but
I would be faster with the math. I'm just saying that right here to explain my
it
strategy.
is the game, though.
Tim wins.